President, last night was the first address before joint session of Congress for this second term of President Trump, and we are here having a special edition focusing on that. One of the major stories, it was a phenomenal moment, perhaps one of the most heartbreaking, but also most encouraging stories, was of a Florida mom, January Littlejohn, who confronted her child's school officials for actively concealing information regarding her child's gender identity and social transition. Well, she took on the schools, and she won. And I'll say she won I'll add, with the help of some sane state legislators, as well as Governor Ron DeSantis, who pushed through the Parental Rights in Education Act. And by the way, all of you parents out there in the audience, you too can have the same impact. It's what we call Pray, Vote, Stand. But now with us, joining us here to share more about her story, is that mother turned parental activist, January Littlejohn. January, welcome to Washington Watch. It's a great honor to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Jody.
Well, listen, for those in our audience who maybe didn't catch or see the address last night before Congress, let's start with you telling us what brought you to the Capitol last night.
Well, I was invited by First Lady Melania Trump to be a special guest for the joint session of Congress. And it was an incredible honor, and I was humbled to be there among so many Americans with really diverse stories, some of them very tragic. So there were times where, we would be interacting with one another, and it could be heavy at times. We each have our own cross to bear. But I feel that in all of our stories, God found purpose in our pain and is using each of us to help others go through similar circumstances.
What was the experience like for you? I've been to many of these over the years, but never in the position that you were in last night, being highlighted and talked about by the president. What was that like for you?
Honestly, it was surreal. I've never even been to the White House before. I've been to D.C. several times on work trips and things of that nature, or on field trips with my children. But this was a very, very different experience, and I was very grateful to have it. It was so incredible meeting both the first and second lady. I was positioned right between them. They are class acts. Both of them are just gracious women and really down to earth, to be honest. They made all of us feel very comfortable, and it was just an incredible night.
Tell us about some of your interactions with various members of Congress last night. I'm sure you were able to meet a good number of them.
We actually didn't. We were, doing some White House press. We all had dinner together. We got to meet a couple of the cabinet members, but other than, Jack Brewer came in. He's one of my heroes. He's a hero here in Florida that really advances fatherhood initiatives. We also met Secretary McMahon very briefly. So there were a couple of people that kind of came in and out, but I think that everybody was really, really busy leading up to the joint address yesterday.
Well, I'm sure they all would have loved to have an opportunity to meet you and to say thank you for your incredible stance and the impact that has had, not only on you and your family in the state of Florida, but across the entire nation. So let's talk about that real quickly. In addition to your state legislators and the governor there in Florida, who else all came alongside you as you were standing up for parents' rights?
Oh, my goodness. There's too many to count. I woke up to over 200 text messages this morning of support. The outpouring of support has just been incredible. And even back in 2020, Jody, there were so many parents that wanted to speak out, felt like they couldn't. They were scared. They were silenced. And so you have to remember how much progress we have made since 2020. It's pretty phenomenal. And it's from grassroots efforts. People, like myself and other moms and dads and people like the Heritage Foundation and of course, your amazing organization, doing the work to get the truth of this medical scandal out to the public. And the mainstream media is still not doing its job. they are still not covering this side of the issue. And the bottom line is the US is now an outlier in how we are treating, especially minors experiencing this kind of distress over their sex. And it has just been so politicized, and it's preventing proper debate and proper discussions about what's best for these children, what is evidence based treatment for this issue, from moving forward.
All right, we've only got less than a minute left here, January. Other parents out there who might be in our audience facing similar situations to yours, what would you say to them real quickly?
Well, you're not alone. There are a lot of parents like myself that are finding success parenting and walking their children through this confusion. It is not easy. It takes the willingness to be in conflict with your child to set healthy and appropriate boundaries. And oftentimes, removing your child from any affirming environment, including schools. But if you go to the Do No Harm parent web page, it's donoharmmedicine.org. We put together a whole page of resources for parents, resources that were not available when my husband and I were experiencing this with our child. And so that's the first step that I would encourage parents to do, is just know you're not alone and go to that resource page so you can arm yourself with accurate information about what your child is experiencing.
January Littlejohn, thank you so much for sharing your family's story. What a powerful one. You were a hero all across America. Thank you for joining us this evening on Washington Watch.
Thank you. God bless you.